I actually think that the potential for innovation to make our economy less carbon dependent is enormous. You know, over the last 200 years, we've devoted all of our resources and innovation to try to save labor. But because the carbon was free, the atmosphere was free, we didn't devote any energy, any of our intellectual abilities, to try to figure out how to save on the emission of carbons. I think it's overwhelmingly clear that we can do it if we devote even a fraction of the resources that we have devoted to saving on labor.
We need the innovation, though it has to be said that all the technologies we require to make a 90% cut already exist. We don't have to wait for some new miracle technology. It's all there, but we need it to be deployed. And we need to see a massive substitution of current investment with a whole tranche of new investments in the latest environmental technologies. Which would create a great jobs boom and have all sorts of positive impacts, but for many industries which are already committed to the fossil fuel economy, it would have many negative impacts. So those industries are very resistant to change. But yes, of course, we have to make use of technology, and every single technology which is available to us, we have to just make sure that we use our money wisely to ensure that we get the most bang for our buck in terms of renewable energy. But that only works if you have a regulatory framework which says we're having an overall cut in emissions and a cap which comes down every year. Without that, you have your dieting conundrum where you're still eating all your fatty foods, and eating a salad doesn't cancel them out. You have to get rid of the fossil fuels at the same time as you're producing new renewables.
We are using resources so inefficiently that our economy digs up, puts through various resource crunching activities, and then throws away 500 billion tons of stuff a year. Of all this stuff, less than 1% of it ever gets put in a product and is still there 6 months after sale. All the rest is waste. Or put another way, an enormous business opportunity, because squeezing out that waste is the best way to cut your cost. It's also a great way to drive your innovation. So ST Microelectronics announced what Jim Collins, author of Good to Great and Built to Last, calls a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. They said, we're going to be carbon neutral with a 40-fold increase in production by 2010. Somewhat more ambitious than my government says would bankrupt our economy to try to meet the Kyoto Protocol of a 7% reduction. When Pasquale Pastorio, the CEO of ST, made this announcement, he had no earthly idea how he was going to achieve it, but figuring it out has driven their corporate innovation, taking them from the number 12 chip maker in the world to the number 6. They are gaining market share. They reckon by the time they're done, they'll have saved about $1 billion. This is the power of efficiency.
Two basic things, that human beings are packed with unlimited capacity, they can change their life. And poverty is an artificial imposition on human beings. It's not something they are born with. It's an artificial imposition after they are born. And if you remove that artificial situation, they will come out. There's nothing wrong. And the second thing is that we need to change the economic framework. We have to include another type of business. I'm calling it social business. Business totally dedicated to addressing the issues, social problems, so that in a business format, with individual initiative, they can be changed. So once we bring these things together, I think we can create a world without poverty.
every time I turn around, whether it's in India, whether it's in China, Malaysia, Tanzania, there's no shortage of reasons for optimism. In fact, the power of our technologies, the wonders of our information linkages now, a world where isolation, which was the essence of poverty, has been broken, where a cell phone is within reach basically in just about any village you can find around the world right now, and thereby making a link for people who were desperately outside of the chain of information and are now part of markets and global knowledge. There's all the reason for optimism. What is the hardest part of all of this is managing change and having the understanding of how crucial and how fruitful cooperation can be right now. The problem isn't our lack of tools. The problem is our ability to manage all these wonderfully powerful tools that we have to human effect. And that's why I think universities can play a huge role, why business schools and schools of policy can play a huge role. We have a challenge of management and understanding, of learning and cooperation. We're going to solve these problems. Poverty will end by the year 2025, extreme poverty. That's what I said in The End of Poverty, and I think that's what's going to happen.